So I just did one row so far, and just as a reminder, it's going to want to curl up like this. You want to make sure that as you go along, you push the part that wants to suck into it, you push that part out, because this is the side that you want to see. You don't want to see the inside, you want to see the outside of your work. So you'll just kind of continue on. I'll do rows 3 through 11. As a quick check-in, this is about halfway through. I'm on row 5 and it's starting to look like this. You're going to have this little extra tail from when you did your magic circle. That's going to end up being tucked into your work. I usually just leave it loose until the end. But yeah, at about row 5, this is what it should be looking like. So now we've completed the 11 rows. We're at the end here. I didn't use a stitch marker on this just because it's only 6 crochets around. You can, it's just for me, I feel like it gets in the way, so I just crochet around 6 times, keep count. But when we get to this point here, you're gonna fasten off. So of course we're gonna pull this out. I already cut the yarn, so we're gonna pull this out. We do have a pretty long tail, but that's gonna be because we have to do what they call an inverted magic ring. All it is really you're just sewing up the end of the piece, and then we're leaving this long tail to sew it into the body afterwards. So for this inverted tail, you come through our inverted magic circle. We're basically coming in on these outer rings here, like this, and we're closing it in. And you're going to do that for all the little rings around. So you're going to go to the next one over and pull it. And as you do it, it's slowly closing up the hole at the top of the arm. So I'm going to go through the next one. So from that one, we're going to go into this one. We have one last one. This one here. There we go. And then from this point on, we're going to sew this into the body. So let me take this out first because we have to actually make a second one. So now that we have these, we're going to set them aside and we're going to actually start on the hair. So you're going to grab the hair color here to start. To begin, you're going to do a 6 single crochet in a magic ring, just like how we did to start her head and to also start her arms and her feet. That's 1, 2, whoops. Regather that there, sorry. 3, 4, wow. 5 and 6. And then use that little tail to pull it all in to make it a round. In the second row, we're going to do an increase round. So it's going to go from 6 stitches to 12. So that's 2 stitches in every stitch, or 2 single crochets in every stitch around till you get to 12 stitches. And then I'll meet you at the end. So now we're at the end of row 2. I'm going to start row 3. In this round, we're going to do 1 single crochet and an increase 6 times, so we get all the way around, and it's going to equal up to 18 stitches. So you do, just like we did before, it's 1 single crochet in that next stitch, and then we're going to go 2 in the next one for our increase. Just like that. And you do that 5 more times. Now that you completed row 3, Moving on to 4, it's going to have us start with the hair strands. So to do that, it says that it wants us to chain 30. So from where we're at here, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. That's 20. 25. 28, 29, and 30. And then it says from the chain 30, you always, whenever you're going to work in a chain, you're always going to go from the second chain on the hook. So that's going to be not the one that's in the chain, not this one, but it's going to be this one right here. So in this chain space, they're going to have you doing 1 half double crochet and a half double crochet increase. So to do that, you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook first. So you're going to go in here just like this, wrap, wrap, and into that second space, pull up a loop, I'm going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 3 of those loops just like so, just like that. So that's a half double crochet, and then it's going to have you do on the next, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through the 3 loops, and you're going to do that again in the next, that same chain space. So that's how you're going to do that increase. So yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So now we have the half double crochet and the half double crochet increase. You're going to continue to do that same thing, the one half double crochet followed by a half double crochet increase. You're going to do that 9 more times. Now that you did your let's see, it was your 1 half double crochet and your 1 half double crochet increase 9 times, or 10 times, pardon. Now you're going to finish off the chain with 9 half double crochets, and then you'll end up slip stitching into the piece. So then you completed the round, should look something like that, and then you're going to go slip stitch into that next chain space here. Like that, and then you're going to go and repeat that same step. So you're going to do all the chains. It was 8, yeah, no, so once you do all of your rows, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to end up looking kind of like a big mop. But you'll finish this off here just like you do with everything else. You'll cut this and sew in all the ends. Do this here, we'll go up underneath the stitches, kind of hide them. Oops, there it goes. You're going to do that with that, and you're also going to do it with the one that was from when you started your circle. You're going to hide all of those ends, and then from that point on, we're going to start with the crown. Our next step is to start with the crown, and to do that, we're going to chain up. It says chain 12. So I'm just making a slip knot here. and I'm going to chain the 12. Okay, after we chained our 12, we're going to slip stitch into this first ring here so that it forms the full circle. So you're gonna insert your hook right here. And then it has your circle here. And now we're going to be building our crown on, this is our base, and we're going to be building it up to make our crown. In our first 2 rows, we're going to just single crochet all the way around. Nothing fancy, just single crochets until we get around. We'll do 2 rows of 12 single crochets. And then I will meet you back when we get to the end. Once you get back to the end and you've done your 12 or your 2 rows of 12 single crochets all the way around, now it's time to work on the peaks of the crown. I'm going to put the sequence here at the bottom of the screen, but it's going to be for row 3, 1 single crochet, 3 chains, 1 slip stitch in the first chain, and then you slip stitch on the next stitch. That is going to look a little something like this. So we're going to go 1 single crochet. Let me put my stitch marker just in case. It's a good way of making sure I keep track. So 1 single crochet, and then you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then it says 1 slip stitch, and that slip stitch is going to go into the first chain, which means right here. Slip stitch, and then after that you go slip stitch into the next stitch space, just like so. And it's going to give you this little kind of a peak. So that's the sequence you're going to follow all the way around till you get back to your stitch marker. Alright, so we are finished. I just pulled this out because I'm going to use some of this to sew it onto her hair and her head. So we're going to cut the excess of yarn. What we're going to do here, I'll take this out of the way. I'll pull this through. And to make it so we can bring it down to the bottom of the crown, I'm going to just kind of put it through those little loops so that we could drag that, oops, that, it's going to get snagged up. Let's redo that. We're going to bring it down the side of the crown so that you don't see the thread on the inside of the crown when it sits on our head. What I mean by that is we're also going to try to make it a little bit of an invisible finish. We go through the middle of these 2. Just like that. And continue to bring this, oops, sorry. So just like this. I want to continue bringing it down the side of our piece underneath those stitches so we don't see it. This way it's nice and ready for us to sew this on top of Glenda's head. We're ready to assemble it all. Just like that. We're also going to end up tucking this little piece in too. Now we're going to assemble. So for her arms, looks like it doesn't tell you exactly where when it comes to assembly in the instructions that it provides. but it looks like they sewed her arms right up against the neckline here. So that's what we're gonna do. I wanna bring it up underneath this first loop just to see how it sits, if it's too far back or not. So it looks like we sew it down, it looks like it's gonna sit kind of properly and where it should sit. So after it's done this, I'm gonna hold it here with my finger. I'm gonna come pass it through her arm, just like this, and into or under this next stitch. Oops, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time here. I'm gonna grab these two right here. So we're gonna go up underneath this one here, as well as this one, because it's like the side. And then we're gonna kind of go a little bit back. This is how I like to do it. I like to go a little bit back. We're gonna go back into this spot where we did for the middle. I wanna bring it up underneath these stitches here, just to kind of make it a little bit more secure. Sorry. Keep going out of frame. Sorry about that. It's looking like it's pretty secure already, but I'm gonna do just one more on the side just to make sure. So I'm gonna actually go back through this one here. Just like that. So we have, it's fully secure on the underside, on the top side. When you're happy with how you've got it sewn in, go back in through the top of the piece. Out of frame again, sorry about that. I'm gonna go back into the piece. I typically would go straight through. Right back where we came, like the exit hole, right back in. We're gonna come up the back. And then I'm gonna actually take it up through her head. From that, I like to pull it tight. Give our yarn a little cut. And once you cut it, it kind of just sucks back up into the piece. And she's got an arm. So you're gonna do that same thing with her second arm, and we'll catch you when we're done with that. Now when it comes time to put her hair on, there's nothing that tells you how to do it, but you have the two options of either sewing it on or you can glue this right to the top of her head. So if you choose to go the sewing route, which is the way I'm going to be trying to do it, I'm bringing my needle from the back here. I want to start right directly in the middle. What I did was come up in the middle of her head, through the middle of that circle from her hair, just so I can line it up first. I'm going to tack it down here a few stitches, and then from that point on, you need to come through on each strand that you want to keep a little bit straight to cover some of the head. Or at that point you can sew this top and then you can glue these strands down. It's really going to be however you feel like tacking her hair down. So we sewed her hair on, and I just went ahead and sewed the crown. We crocheted it, sewed it on the same way that I did the hair, And now we're going to move on to doing the details. This is going to be her belt that we're going to embroider in. So you get your gray yarn and you're going to insert it in the back. Bring it to the front. You leave your tail on the back for finishing it off. I'm going to go right back into the same hole that you just came out of, into the next stitch. Before you pull it all the way through, you put your yarn, or your needle, pardon me, through there. Got a little twisted. You pull it through and it's going to look like this. So then you're going to do this the same way through here. Pull it through. And before you get to the very end where it goes in, you put your needle through. You pull out the loop. You're going to do that all the way around until you get back to here. Now that you've finished it, it should look something like this. It's a straight little belt across. I already cut it, tied it, and fastened it off here. You just need to tuck this in. I'm going to work on some of the little details. I'm going to do her eyelashes, eyebrows, and then do the little, it's just like making little X's here and there just to make it look like little sparkles throughout her dress. And then we'll catch up at the end to see the finished product. All right, so I just finished doing all the rest of the details, adding her eyebrows, doing her little eyelashes, and the details on the skirt. And this is what the complete Glenda project looks like. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you guys want more of this content. Bye.